Hey everybody, welcome back to Here Pal Here. My name is Pal. Today I'm excited to finally be getting into a project that I've had going on in my mind for a long time. It is fixing up what is quite possibly the favorite guitar that I own, the Yamaha SBG2000 that I've had since forever and a day. I bought this guitar a long time ago when I was in college, and it is probably my favorite guitar out of all of the ones that I own. Back in the day when I first bought it, my friends always joked that this was the Les Paul, because I kind of pretty much always wanted a Les Paul, and for whatever reason, I'll save that for another video, but I got pretty much kind of obsessed with getting a Yamaha SBG, and I finally managed to buy one, and yeah, this was like pretty much like my #1 main guitar for like a long time, and I'll, like I say, get you guys some more stories about that later. But right now, the point of this video is to actually talk about fixing it up, because I've got a few things on it that needed to be fixed. So right now, I'm actually missing the high E string because I just broke that the last time I was going into a slide tuning. But anyway, it's a beautiful guitar. I love this guitar, and I'll do a full proper review of it for anybody who's interested later. But it's a heavy, big guitar. It's like a you know, big hunkin' you know, neck through body, mahogany for the most part. There's a center block of maple in the back, and then it's got a maple cap, which is really nice, and this cherry sunburst. It's got an ebony fretboard. It's got some nice inlays. I'll show you guys the headstock real quick. Yeah, I love this guitar. I think it's great. I've got some Seymour Duncan Seth Lover pickups in there. Those are amazing. And let's get into what's wrong. So basically, a long time ago, it's been over 10 years now, I actually ended up doing an overseas move to Hungary. I now live in Hungary. And when I was preparing for the move I had several moves before that big move. At some point, I actually lost the backplate to my guitar. And this video is the first of several videos that I'll be doing about things that I'm going to be doing to kind of improve and fix this guitar. I made this backplate out of a old kitchen pot, a ceramic covered or enameled pot that we no longer needed. It was really scuffed up on the inside, and I actually chopped this piece out of it to make the backplate. So you guys can enjoy how I did that. I'll show it to you, and then basically, yeah, just talk a little bit about you know, kind of how that ended up being. Basically, when I had these pickups installed, the guy that did it was an amazing luthier. He's worked on a lot of my guitars, and really good guy, but he ended up doing something really funky with the pots. Instead of the traditional, like most double humbucker guitars where you have like, you know, volume, tone, he ended up reversing them. So he did like volume tone for the rhythm pickup, volume tone for the treble pickup, and for the bridge pickup. And I, at first, was kind of like a little bit annoyed, but then I was like, oh, just give it a shot. You know, maybe it's kind of cool, like just having something different. I'm not really even sure what possessed him to wire it up that way. But, you know, I used the guitar like that for a long time, and I never really minded. But I did at that time still have two other guitars with similar, you know, double humbucker, two-tone, two-volume layout. And because they were, you know, laid out in the more traditional, you know, volume, tone, I always had trouble when I would come back to this guitar because I would be used to that. So at some point I was just like, okay, you know, enough of this. I'm going to just change the pots back to the way they should be. And, you know, just in doing that, I must have kind of like broken one of the leads or just loosened one of the leads or something on the tone pot for the rhythm pickup. And this pot right now doesn't seem to work. I don't think there's anything wrong with the pot. I have measured its resistance. I'm pretty sure I did that a while back. It's been so long now, I honestly can't remember, but I'm pretty sure the pot is actually fine. And it's just the solder connection or something probably got, you know, moved or a little bit like when I rearranged and move this back here. So I need to go and fix that. Now, that was what prompted me originally to take off the back cover. And that's why I had it off for a long time, because it was like a project that I was going to do, but then I never really kind of got to it. And I didn't keep the back plate in my case. And at some point with all the moving and stuff, I don't know wherever I had left it, but I ended up losing it. So basically, for the past decade, this guitar has had no backplate on it. I've just played it the way it is, and my volume works on both pots, and my tone on the treble pickup works, but my tone on the rhythm pickup doesn't. So I was just like, I really should get to it. So anyway, so I figured I got to make the backplate. So that's the first of the steps. But the next thing is I will be doing a rewiring of the electronics, because there's a couple things that I don't like about the guitar. One is that currently the way it works when you roll back your volume on either pickup, it just becomes so muddy. Like, you lose all the treble. There's no treble bleed circuit in here, and it's just mud city. Like, it sounds great for jazz or like, some certain kinds of things where you kind of want to like dip down some of the treble. But it also works okay kind of on some high gain settings, because I think it kind of sounds nice. It like warms things up. But if I want like a clean but just quieter, setting, like on a relatively clean amp, or just like a barely pushed amp, and I don't want to lose the treble, it's really not working for me. And I mean, that's what you have your tone volume, kind of set up for. Like, you want to be able to use the tone to roll down the treble, in my mind. So I want to change that, and that has actually started me on a whole kind of search of what kind of wiring schematic I should use, and that will be a separate video that I will do for you guys, because I find it really interesting. I was just totally fascinated by the stuff that I learned about the different wiring schematics. I believe what is in here now is what's called an independent volume wiring, which is that in the middle position, if you go down to nothing on one, it doesn't cut the volume to 0. On most Gibson style guitars, where you have like a two humbucker setup like this, combination, if you go to the middle and you turn one of them all the way down, it actually cuts to 0, the same as if you were like, let's say 0 on your treble, and you just go to the treble, and you're in the middle and you go to the treble, it'll cut to nothing. Same thing, if you're in the middle, it'll still be on nothing. Then when you go up to the rhythm, it's going to be full on. So independent volume, you actually get to roll down one of them all the way, and now even in the middle, I'll have whatever's on my rhythm, for example. Same thing the other way around. But that's kind of a benefit, I guess, for somebody if they do some weird kind of thing like that. But I actually don't really care about that. That's not a feature I wanted. It's just the way that it ended up being wired by the luthier. I'm going to be exploring some other ones with you guys in a separate video. There's many different wiring styles, and we're going to talk about treble bleed and all this kind of stuff. We're going to do the review of the 50s wiring schematic, and talk about all these kinds of things, the really interesting stuff that I found. So that'll be for a separate video, but for now, take this as part 1, making the backplate, and join me for that. And if you do like it, then yeah, stick around. Okay, so a couple things. I had been using a bunch of these cardboard kind of cutouts to try to get the right shape and size and everything, like this. And it was really difficult because the thickness of the cardboard kind of made it really difficult to cut it into a precise shape. So I was constantly trying to find the right places to kind of chisel it smaller or leave it a little bigger or what have you. And I think after 3 of these, I just realized, okay, that's kind of dumb, and found a much thinner piece of paper that I was able to just get into place a lot better. I think it was like this, yeah. And then just get a much more exact shape. So what I ended up doing is taping this to the metal piece that we had cut out, and then I just used the angle grinder to get it nice and smooth and pretty much exactly to this dimension. So now we've got a really nice smooth edge the next step is now to find out where I need to put in the holes so that we can put in the screw holes. And conveniently, they're exactly 1/2 centimeter in from the edge of this body route. And my wife has helped me. We just drew in a bunch of lines, and then on here we drew in little pencil marks where I need to punch basically a little hole, and I'm going to drill those next. So you can see this fits in really well, and then the lines are on there, but it's kind of hard to see actually from the camera, but they're visible enough that I'll be able to punch a little starter hole, and I'm going to drill that next. So that'll be the next step, and I'm going to drill one hole for kind of the end of the screw for the tip that will fit through, and then I'll use a slightly bigger screw to drill the hole for the head of the screw so that it's recessed a little bit, but that will obviously not go through all the way. So it'll just be kind of nice, just like here I've taken out one of the screws so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to try to drill kind of a smaller hole, check to make sure that the holes line up, and then if they do and everything's good, then I'm going to go back in a slightly bigger drill for getting that kind of recessed hole in there. So let's get to work. So I've used one of my kids' colored markers just to get a more visible little dot in each of the 4 spots there, and I'm going to use a modified nail punch to just get a little starter indent, and we're going to start drilling that, and then we'll see what's next. Show it to you guys in a bit. Okay guys, so you can see that most of the holes came out really great. They line up really nicely, but this one I screwed up. I don't know if the punch shifted when I did it, or maybe the drill shifted when I was drilling it, but I had to really slide the hole over, so I got a big gaping hole here on the side. I'm pretty sure it'll still look decent because the head of the screw is so big, but now I'm going to go back and do the little indent a little bigger on each one, and then we'll check it and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So there we go, got it on. Like I say, these 3 came out really good, no issues. This 4th one, you can see that the hole is a little bit bigger than it needs to be. There's a tiny gap there, but I don't care enough to redo it because I'd have to cut a new metal piece. It's a little bit thin here anyway, like I probably just grinded down a little too much with the angle grinder. So it's not exactly perfect, but it's pretty darn close, and I'm really happy with it. I mean, this thing is great. Haven't had a backplate on here in a long time, as I told you guys in the intro, and this is definitely going to be better. It's the first of what are hopefully going to be many steps of improving this guitar a little bit further, and yeah, just kind of restoring it to its full glory, because yeah, I just haven't really had the time to focus on this before. So I'm really happy with how this came out. I think if anything, I'm gonna have to take this off anyway, because I'm gonna be doing a whole bunch of other cool stuff with this guitar. Hopefully I'll be working on the electronics next, I think. And yeah, basically I'll probably put in some kind of spacer underneath, maybe just a couple washers or something underneath the screws, just to elevate this a little bit to bring it in line with the body. I might not even do that, because then the screws will stick out even further. I might just leave it as it is, but maybe that'll be like another step I can do. But for right now, I'm really happy with this. So yeah, it came out pretty good, and it was really nice being able to use the the pot, which we were gonna throw away anyway, and basically use that scrap metal for doing something like this. Should hopefully even be pretty decent for shielding purposes. So that will remain to be seen, and yeah, we'll see what the next steps bring. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was fun doing the project. I think hopefully it's going to inspire me to get the rest of the things done on here sooner than later, because I really got to get some good strings on here and start playing this thing again. I really miss this guitar. I haven't really been playing in a couple months, because I think I broke that string, like, I don't know, probably, yeah, at the end of last year. So it's been a little while since I played this one. And yeah, basically you know, if you do like it, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see the rest of the videos of how I end up fixing this guitar. If you just can't wait and you want to hear some sound samples from this guitar, check out my video that I did showing off a old flanger pedal. I recorded the sound samples with this guitar and that flanger pedal. And then also, if you want to hear kind of full-on band songs that I've recorded with this guitar, I'm pretty sure on our old MySpace page, my band Sentient End has songs up. I'll dig around and I'll find a link for you guys if you want, and then you can hear some of the stuff that I recorded with this guitar. And I don't know if I have any other sound samples currently on this YouTube channel, but I'll be putting stuff up in the future for sure with this guitar. And there will probably be several parts to this video. So yeah, I'll make a separate playlist, I guess, for doing the other mods and changes that I do on this guitar, and then I'll do a proper kind of review and you know, demonstration of its sounds and some of the other switching things that I want to be able to do with this guy. So yeah, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up, and see you in another video soon.